It's Tuesday, July 23rd, and this is your Barbados Today Evening News Update. So glad you can join us. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Crime against visitors to Barbados is down, and the island's top cop says it's as a result of the hard work of his beach patrol officers. Commissioner of Police Tyrone Griffith heaped praises on the officers as he received new beach patrol uniforms donated by the Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association at a brief ceremony on the Richard Haynes Boardwalk in Hastings, Christchurch this morning.
The presentation of these uniforms today really should go a long way in comforting these officers who do yeoman-like work daily as they seek to make our visitors to our shores comfortable, secure, as well as locals. Words cannot express the excellence that these officers have displayed. In 2014, we were at some 295 crimes, reported visitor crimes, and at that time, visitor arrivals was around 1.2 million. And now we are somewhere like 1.45 million in 2018, and that crime rate came down to about 215, and it's still on a downward trend, which has occurred over the last 5 years, even though more and more visitors are coming to our shores. So I think that is a tribute to the hardworking men and women of the beach patrols.
Chairman of the Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association, Senator Rudy Grant, says Barbados must maintain its reputation as a safe destination, and he urged the private sector and the public to lend more support to the efforts by the Royal Barbados Police Force to fight crime.
And we believe by partnering with the police, we will continue to ensure that that very important brand element of safety and security, that element is protected. But as I said before, the issue of safety and security is not simply a matter for the police, it is a matter for all Barbadians. And I want to take this opportunity to encourage other Barbadian companies and other Barbadian entities to assist the police and to give meaningful and tangible support to the police in the execution of their duties.
Education Minister Santia Bradshaw today served notice that the reopening of some schools for the new school term in September may be delayed. Addressing the issue in Parliament today, she noted that some 40 schools have been earmarked for repairs under the primary school program. She said that while the work has begun, some of the projects won't be completed over the remaining weeks of the summer vacation.
I would like certainly members here, but also wider Barbados, to appreciate from now that there will be some schools that we are going to have to open later. Maybe a week later, maybe 2 weeks later. But the reality is that it is either I allow the work to take place in this particular time frame so that there is limited disruption during the actual school term. It is one or the other.
MP for St. Peter Colin Jordan has added his voice to calls for the reopening of the Alma Parris school, which catered to slow learners. The education institution in St. Peter was closed in 2017 following reports that it had not received new students since 2015. Education Minister Santia Bradshaw has indicated that the school will be reopened. Jordan told Parliament today that schools like Alma Parris are important to ensure that no child is left behind.
The Alma Parris school allowed for persons who would have had challenges in various ways, maybe some behavioral, some learning. It allowed for those persons to be accommodated in an institution, in a facility that allow them to be able to reach their potential, allow them to be able to develop. We cannot allow for situations where persons living with any kind of disability, whether it is a physical disability, maybe a psychological disability, a cognitive disability, we must ensure that we provide the facilities that will allow all of our people to develop to their maximum potential.
Jordan was speaking during debate on a supplementary of $175,000 for the Ann Hill School. Barbados will soon have access to technology that will convert fish waste to animal feed and fertilizer, thanks to the government of Argentina and the Food and Agricultural Organization. This morning, several local farming interest groups embarked on a one-week workshop which will convert the parts of the fish that are typically discarded into safe and nutritious products for the consumption of livestock. Speaking at the opening of the workshop, which was held at the Argentinian Embassy, Minister of Maritime Affairs and the Blue Economy, Kirk Humphrey, lauded the initiative, saying it was in line with government's plans to reduce waste.
One of the things and there are many things in the Ministry of Maritime Affairs and Blue Economy that I believe are significant, but one of the things that must be of significance is our commitment and desire and follow through in terms of reducing the waste in Barbados. When I say that, I feel very strongly that we must reduce waste firstly by keeping certain things out. This is why I think the plastic is important. When it is in the system, we have to find a way to keep it in the system so that we keep it circulating without it becoming waste. And if it has to be realized as waste, to find a way to convert that waste into something that is practical and into something that is useful. And there is no greater manifestation in my mind than this fish silage project, in the way that it has taken what could potentially have been a problem and made it into something that is of use and something that recognizes progress.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional news now in Jamaica, residents in Albert Town teamed up with environmentalists to send a clear message that they are against mining in Cockpit country. They are worried that the underground water table will be affected. On Monday, placard-bearing residents took to the streets demanding their concerns be heard.
A serene, lush area in Jamaica's interior, but sections of it are now under threat from mining. Residents, including Maroons and environmentalists, are not about to allow it. They armed themselves with placards, horns and drums and camped out in Albert Town, Trelawney early Monday morning to rebuke the government for entertaining mining inside this national treasure.
I'm really curious as to what excites the government about redefining the 1738 boundaries of the Cockpit country. If it is that they say they're protecting the environment, they need to now come forth with the plan that involves the indigenous people of the Maroon constituency, what the plans are and what essentially are they really trying to do. We already know what the Cockpit country is now. You have redefined a boundary. What is it that excites you? Because you said there was no mining, but now we understand what's happening on the ground. Now, there's too much that's happening behind the doors of Parliament that casts a shadow on the leadership and how much of an interest these people really have for the people that are true to this ground in Jamaica.
And on the international front, Boris Johnson will replace Theresa May as Prime Minister after winning the leadership of the Conservative Party today. May will leave office tomorrow after going to Buckingham Palace to see Queen Elizabeth, who will formally appoint Johnson.
Britain has a new Prime Minister. Scruffy-haired, Oxford-educated, gaff-prone Boris Johnson. As he takes up the baton from outgoing Theresa May, what can we glean from his past that might predict what kind of leader he'll be? Let's break it down, point by point.
When Boris Johnson gets a position of responsibility, he likes to make himself the sort of superstar chairman
the man on everybody's lips, on every television camera, on the front pages, and he leaves the details to others, usually to a super efficient team around him that does the specific technical work on issues. Part of Boris Johnson's charm is the slightly shambolic persona, the crumpled suits, the ruffled hair, and the intent to go into subjects that many politicians wouldn't dare to. That indicates Boris Johnson is likely to bring a hefty dose of chaos to the Brexit negotiations.
And that's news. But for the very latest, visit us www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. And you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Good evening.